things I researched about you is that you like to come up with ways for people to be mindful when they have very busy lives.
Yes.
You like to make it easy.
That's my thing, yeah.
That's your thing, keeping it simple. And one of your books actually was called Mindfulness on the Go.
That's right.
Can you give us a really simple, quick and easy kind of beginner's mindfulness exercise? Can you talk us through one?
Yes, I will. Yes, okay. This is one that you could do in a minute, 2 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever you want. You can lengthen it out. And it really is just about, in fact, this is so simple. I always say to people, this is so simple that if you're drinking a cup of coffee, you can go on drinking your cup of coffee. You'll just be doing it mindfully, you know. And you can, another thing about mindfulness is you can do it with your eyes closed or your eyes open. It doesn't really matter. So you notice things. This is an exercise in noticing things, beginning with noticing your breathing and what it feels like. So you're not having to breathe in a special way. You're just noticing that you are breathing.
So we're not going to change our behaviour. We're just going to
just be aware of it. It's just awareness. It's only awareness. So you're noticing that you are breathing. You're noticing what that feels like, and you try to keep your attention on that for a little while. So if we just pause, we're just going to pause just about 4 or 5 seconds. That's all.
Right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, even in that little time, it could happen that your mind went away to something else.
My mind went to the curtains, which viewers watching on YouTube can't see, but there are some curtains behind the camera.
Yeah.
And because I listened out for what I could hear, because you said to be mindful of what's around you. I couldn't hear the drilling anymore.
Yeah.
And then I suddenly noticed the curtains slightly moving in the wind.
Yes.
And I think I was zoned in on the curtains for about 3 seconds.
Yeah, exactly. And that's fine, because that's
so was I
the world outside your head. You were mindful, yeah. Now, if you, but what can happen is that you go into, okay, I wonder where I'll have lunch, and I've got that meeting later this afternoon that I don't really like having to have, and you remember something where you were yesterday, and you just go into these, you just wander into these little things. That can happen so quickly. Now the thing is, with this, you don't give out to yourself, you just come back to your breathing, that's all. And then you do it maybe for another 4 or 5 seconds, you know? So that's the first thing. You're just coming into awareness of your breathing and what that feels like. And then just move on to awareness of your posture. So we're not talking here now about adopting a posture. It's awareness of the fact that you're sitting down, or you're standing, or you're walking, or you're running, or you're lying down. Just awareness of that and what it feels like. So you do that for a few moments, right? So if we let a few moments pass. Okay, so that was just a few moments. And then you move on to awareness of the feeling of your feet against the soles of your shoes, or just the feeling of your feet if you're not wearing shoes. Sensations there. A few moments. And next you become aware of sounds. You could begin, if you like, with sounds from inside whatever space you're in right now. And moving on to sounds from whatever space, from outside whatever space you're in right now. And now just come back to your breathing, simply just for a few moments. And again, when your mind drifts, just bring it back. Okay? That's it. Now, you can do the reason why you do these different methods is, first of all, it provides kind of one thing after another, which makes it easier to remember and easier to do. It provides like a scaffolding, you know. Secondly, if you are a person who doesn't like focusing in on their breathing, now this would be a minority of people, but still, you don't like focusing in on your breathing, it makes you a bit nervous, you can use one of these other things. It doesn't have to be your breathing, you know. You can use sounds, or your posture, or your feet against the soles of your shoes. It could be looking at something, it could be looking at a picture, looking at a sunset, whatever. There's all sorts of ways of doing this. The other thing is, you could just take one of those things that we've just done. So, and if you really like it, you could just use that. You could just connect in with the awareness of your posture, even for a few minutes, and just keep coming back to it whenever your mind drifts. It's one of the oldest mindfulness practices. It goes back a couple of thousand years, actually. So, or it could be, if you're walking, it could be, mindfulness of your walking. So it can be whichever works for you. Or just go through the sequence. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong, you do it in the wrong order,
The sequence, so number one
was your breathing, what that feels like. Number 2 then was your posture, the sensation there. Number 3 was the feeling of your feet against the soles of your shoes. Number 4 was sounds inside and outside the space you're in. It could be sounds in your environment, sounds in the air, and then back to your breathing. So that's a little sequence that you can do very quickly, or you can take time over it if you want to.
When you say bring it back to the breath,
yeah.
What does that mean? Because does that mean that the vision in your mind's eye is of you breathing, or does it mean you're focusing on the sound of your breathing, or is it something else?
To me, it is coming back to an awareness of the sensation of breathing. So to me, it would be the sensation of breathing in my nose. Or to somebody else, if you connect in with your breathing, you might notice it more in your tummy or your chest or your throat. For me, it's my nose. So to me, it's the sensation. And equally with the posture, it's the sensation of sitting down or walking or running, etc. So you're connecting it to a sense. The great thing about that question you asked is that people often talk, and I often talk, about coming back to the now or the moment. These are pretty hard to define. We all know what they mean, but ask us to define it and we're stuck. So coming back to what your senses bring you is a great way to be mindful. So that could be the sensation of your breath, the sensation of sitting down, the sensation of your feet, the sound of whatever is happening here and out there. If you're already out there, it's whatever is happening. And it could be a scent, of something. It could be the physical sensation, let's say, of working or of some activity that you're doing.
So it's focusing on anything that is real, that's not imagined in your head, like not a worry or a fear or something you're thinking about.
Exactly.